I am going to share with you some of my prep for tomorrow for my party. It's a Thursday evening, close to 7, so maybe some of you will look for a little bit of entertainment, which is what I want to show you. But anyway, I wanted to show you also that my bar stools were delivered. I've been looking for these bar stools for a while now. In my favorite furniture store, I went, they didn't have any. You know, they were like very mix and match. Hola! And they didn't have what I was looking for. And you know, with my house, the way I have a lot of wood and I have marble, that color, and some of the doors are like this deep cherry, right? So I have to make sure that I find something that kind of matches. And my dining room that I bought when I moved into the building is kind of round, and it's got these gold chairs, which I like, right? So, oh, look at my painting that I bought at in Cuba when I went to Havana years ago. I've been carrying it around. Finally got it framed. But they delivered my chairs. Look at them. Aren't they beautiful? Oh my gosh. But they're like really light. So it's a good thing there are no children here because I'd be worried sick. And of course, I wouldn't be like some of these Caribbean people. They put like plastic stuff and you're sitting and you hit plastic. That was a thing. And they would even put it like, what do we call that? A runner? Like in the hall, they do a runner. I didn't have that in my house, but I know people who did. But anyway, so you guys know I'm having a party. I have about 20 people registered, and I'm worried that I might have, hola. Yes, I like them. I'm so happy. They came and thank you for the love. They came and they set it up. You know, you pay for them to carry it. You know, you get to a certain age, you don't want to worry about that. So I had time. I went this morning. I had an appointment to get a deep, not a pedicure, but like a cleaning of my feet and toes because I have like 4 toes, 2 on each foot that are looking discolored. And I was like, I don't want that. So I found this place here. They call them Podologia, I think, Podology, where they take care of, I know, they're beautiful. Thank you, Miss Sandra. So you go in there and they do good massages, exfoliation and stuff like that. So I went and she did a pretty good job. So they gave me a prescription to get some stuff, a spray and some kind of, I am in the city, and some type of, because those take a long time. Whenever you get some type of fungus, and that's why I wanted to jump on it. But anyway, she was nice, and I think she did a good job. But, so, I did that, and then I went to the store. I was looking, I need some extra eggs for my cornbread, and then I needed some more, I showed you the soup containers, but then I needed some of these little plates because I asked people to bring stuff, and we're gonna have people are bringing cookies and pies and cheese and things and fruit and stuff. So I felt I needed some more of these little plates. So I bought 2 packs. They're like 20 each, so 40. I think it should be okay. And then drinks and stuff. So I'm responsible to make. I'm calling this Fridays at Maggie's. It's gonna be something I've been thinking about since last year. Just a day a month, people can come together, something to look forward to. And I cook something central, and then I ask the guests to bring other things to eat with it. Hola, Deborah. Dion Marie voiceover. Oh, you do voiceover? That's nice. I'd like to do that. They said my voice could do it. But anyway, so I did that. So I came back. I was waiting for the delivery, and then after that, I'm like, let me clean up. So I've been cleaning the house, wiping. I was scrubbing that shower. You know how good you feel after you've done that? And I know some of you have housekeepers. I don't. I prefer put my gloves on. I'm still able to do it, so I'm doing it. So, swept. The only thing I have left is to mop and then steam, so I'll do that tomorrow morning. But I always like to start and get a head start, right? So I went, oh, I forgot. I got up at 7 and went to the meat market and got the chicken. So sancocho, I told you, is chicken. Nyame, which is that yam that I told you, and you have to use that. You can't use yuca, it wouldn't be sancocho, okay? Show respect to the culture. So I have a big piece of that. And culantro, which I have. And oregano. Oregano is something that you have a lot here. No, this is basil, albahaca. Okay. Now I better have. You know how much I say I have a hard time finding green onions? This was the best compromise I could have. This size. And I was happy. You know, they're kind of big, kind of halfway between a leek and the green onion. They don't have the green onion like what you know of being green onion. Okay, I was starting to panic. And it's like, I can't have sancocho without culantro. And you know, cilantro, I told you sometime I have a hard time finding it. I couldn't find any yesterday. But this is culantro, see? You see how flat the leaves are? This is culantro. You have to have that in that soup. Ooh, that look good. I'm happy. So what I thought I would do, I bought one chicken, they cut it up, and I'm like, picado, chiquito. So that means I wanted small pieces, remember what I said, so that they can fit in that bowl. So I did that, and then I look, and I'm like, 20 people for soup? I may not have enough. So I had them also add one breast. And so I have a chicken and a breast. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna marinate that and leave it overnight so that it's nice and tasty in the morning. And I'm gonna also do a minestrone alla Maggi. I'm gonna maganize. When that's not just mala, I'm gonna maganize, that's my verb that I've created, the minestrone. So I have the peas. So tonight I'm gonna soak them, you know, red, black, and white. We're gonna use that. I think I'm gonna put them together, yeah. Because what I decided to do, I have this pot. I'm gonna do this pot, and then I'm gonna do the Dutch oven. So I'm gonna do two sancocho. So I have to stand here and kind of portion it out, because otherwise if I let them take themselves, somebody would have a big part and the rest of them won't get any, so I'm gonna do that. And then I don't have another big pot, so I thought I would do the minestrone in this one. I know it's not that big. The minestrone, I know one sister is vegetarian. No, two of them. So they should be able to enjoy that. So cornbread. And then I want to show you how I do this tomorrow. I found the pastry sheets. Listen, I was so excited because I can give me time, you know, I don't want to be rolling the dough. So this is I cheat. This is my cheat sheet. So I'll show you how I make that, the pastries. In the pastries, I use ground beef with seasoned and some peppers and onion. And then I have some that are vegetarian with just vegetables. I also have some, I do have some spinach. I have spinach and bok choy. So we're gonna make the mix tonight, so you'll be done. And then we're gonna marinate the chicken, all right? So that is the plan for tonight. That way tomorrow I'm not running like a chicken with my head cut off. But in order for me to use this one for the minestrone, I have some stock in here. So I'm going to pour my stock into my containers. You know, when I went home earlier this year, I was so excited because, oops. When I was at the restaurant, we used to have all different sizes of these. Can't find these anywhere around here. Cannot. So I brought some with me, and I'm so excited. So I'm gonna pour my my stock. There you go. And then while I'm doing what I'm doing today, I'm gonna make some more stock because you know you're making 2 kinds of soup, needs a lot of stock. Because remember, this is what seasons your food. Because I don't use better than bouillon, and I don't use little packets of stuff, you know. I'm always talking about how that's a turn off for me. All right, so I have some leftover veggies, right? Because I always save like broccoli stems and stuff like that. I save them, and then I'm gonna take the hard part of those that are like leeks and stuff, throw them in there, crush some garlic, put some bay leaves in there, and that's how you make stock. Okay, so I got some of those. This is like leftover from like celery, right? Anything that looks a little puny, throw it in a pot, and then you can make stock, okay? Because that is what's going to flavor your food. You want to do that all the time. And you can also let it cool, boil down. And then some people even put them in like little ice trays, and they take the cube and throw it in like their stews and their soups. That's a little tip, okay? So I am going to, this is celery. Because of the soup I'm making tomorrow, I can just throw everything in it. So I'm gonna take the leaves of the celery and put it in there for the stock. And let me show you this. I went back to get the tray to put the cornbread, and they were gone. So what I said I'm gonna do, 20 people. This is my big daddy of cast iron, so I'm gonna put some in here. ¿Qué pasó? And then I have the next size. I'm gonna put some in here. So I'm thinking when I mix, I may make 3 times my recipe to make sure I have enough. Maggie, do they sell chicken thighs? Yes. By the pack? Yes, in the stores. But if you go to the meat market, you'll find the breast separated. I've seen them do the thighs and part of the back, like the bottom of the chicken. So like half in the middle, so you can buy that at the market. But I'm sure in the store you'll find chicken thighs. And then this is the next size. So if I have a little bit, so I think I'll be okay. All right, you know, when one thing doesn't work, you're like, what's the next best thing? And you figure it out. And I am really good at figuring things out. You throw me somewhere, I will find a way. Okay? I am not the hand wringer to say, oh my God, what are we gonna do? What are we gonna do? Ooh, I can't stand that. It's like, okay, let's go. Let us go. So, the celery here does not last long. It starts going limp on you. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna just cut off that part and throw it in the pot. And I get stock. Oh, excited. All right, let's rinse that. So I went back to Cisco yesterday and they had oxtail. So anybody, hola Greta. I'm not cooking, Greta. We're just doing prep for tomorrow for my party. And this is how the spinach came. Look how fresh. Viennese. Yes. And this was $1.41. So that wasn't bad. You know what, Greta? I haven't seen your Swiss chart in a while. This is the thing here. When you see something, it's like, oh my God, buy it. Because you go back, you're not going to find it. Just like I saw those trays and I said, I'll come back because I didn't have the bag to carry it. And I even had time to go buy a little planter stand at the mall today after I did my nail thing. So, you know. And then I bring my big bag and the young lady was like, what, you come prepared because it came in a box and I don't have a car. So I have this big bag. I think I showed it to you. So when I'm carrying something that's a little heavy or big size, we have this big bag. So I just started in there and got on the metro and be done with it. Yeah. All right. So we have the pot here for the stock. So now I am going to add some garlic. We don't need that. Now the celery is for the minestrone tomorrow. So with the beans, we're gonna start with our sofrito, you know, like with garlic, onions. I bought peppers. I was at San Felipe. I bought 3 peppers. That was $6. They're not cheap. They are not cheap. Oh, I also need to make marinara. When I have you guys, I have your attention. We're gonna make marinara because I need marinara for my soup. So 3 cloves of crushed garlic and some bay leaves. And I believe I'll leave it alone. Just let it, yep. Put those. I think we're gonna need some of that for the ground beef. So let's make the ground beef mixture. So I don't eat beef, but for my guest, I think it's 1.5 pounds. The pound was $3.75. So I thought that should be enough, all right? So I'm going to use my favorite skillet. Looks as old as dirt, but once you're used to a pot or something, and that's what you use, okay? So let's turn this on. We have the beef. So we're gonna start with onions and garlic. And in that beef mixture, you season it really good. And then I put a little bit of heat, not too much. I know. And so what else are they gonna bring? Lots of wine, of course. And I still have the wine, the sangria. I still have some sangria. And get some. Got potatoes for tomorrow. Okay. Oh, I thought I bought more onions. Oh, wait a minute. I think I have some leftover onions. Remember, when you're cooking, always remember what you have in your kitchen and see, how can I use what I have and come up with something different, right? That's what you do. So when I save my onions, because I use onion for everything. That's my base. Onion and garlic, always. So we're gonna cook the ground beef and then store it away for tomorrow. So I thought tomorrow morning, I'll do the soups and leave them, start around 10 and leave them on the stove. I can always warm them up for later. And then by like 1 o'clock, I start on the cornbread. If it's done by 3, that would be good because I can always put it in the oven and then brush it with some melted butter. Buenas noches, Sominia. Hola, ¿cómo estás? And then the pate, I'm sure that I have some Haitian ladies listening to me here. I commit this thing that I don't do my own I don't do the pastry thing because it just takes too long. All right. You can take some shortcuts sometimes. All right. Not a lot of oil because the beef is going to render some of its oil and I'm going to skip it off because I don't want, a lot of fat. So I want everything to be kind of small. Anything I put in here. And I'm going to save the rest. So I'm thinking of creating a packet for whoever might need it, like for first-time cooks, the essentials that you need, a kit, so to speak, right? So this is your armor. You need this, a good chef's knife. You start with that. Nice little garlic here. In terms of dessert, somebody's baking cookies. Oh, I wanted to tell you, I told you at Cisco, I saw oxtail, and then also if you're having a party, they have all kinds of bread. I saw English muffin. Can you believe I saw English muffin? And they have brioche buns for burgers, yummy, all frozen, of course. And they have cheesecake in a box so with the slices. So if you're ever having a party, they had plain. They had one with Oreo base, which sounds yummy. So keep that in mind if you're around here and you're gonna have a party. Well, I didn't want to spend any more money, so I'm not doing that. But I told you I bought these small little mini baguettes. So I'm going to warm them up, brush them with some butter. I was thinking maybe of making crostinis. Crostinis is when you slice the bread and then you make like an garlic herb oil, and then you put it in the oven. Maybe that's what I'll do because I only have like 6 or 8 for the 20. So we have to stretch it out. But they'll have plenty to. They have the cornbread. I think a lot of them are coming for the cornbread. And not from Jiffy. It's not from Jiffy Box. Oh my gosh. If you ever get cornbread from a box, if I died, I would rise up and say, what you doing? No. No Jiffy here. What's the point? point. I get so, I don't know. I feel some kind of way. I told you, my teacher chef, they made us make mayonnaise, we made mustard, and then, you know, me being the smart aleck that I am, I said, well, I don't know, chef. I said, I think Hellman's taste pretty good. And he said, Maggie, if you got to say that, you don't belong in my class. So I'm like, oh, chef, relax. Yeah, I think maybe I don't need to use all my ground beef. The ground beef looks good. I mean, it doesn't look like it's got a lot of fat in it, which is good. But like anything, if you buy a cut of meat to make steak, and you buy like 99% fat-free, you're gonna have a tough steak. It's the fat, the marbling in between the layers that gives it that juiciness. So don't eat beef, but if you wanna eat beef, eat it the right way. Or you make a chef feel some kind of way. They get upset about that. Especially when you all say you want your steak well done. That is sacrilegious. We don't believe in that. Because remember, you get sick from uncooked chicken, not beef. Beef and pork don't get you sick. And people say, I don't eat pork. Like, it's like, you know, a badge of honor or something. You don't get sick from eating pork. 145 degrees and they're done. Chicken, 165. To be able to make sure you kill anything that might be. Alright, I think I'm going to save this little, you know, I didn't need the half. But you know, I always buy more than I need, which is fine because I'd rather have more than not enough. Do they sell hard dough bread? Hard dough. What is hard dough bread? Maria, what is hard dough? Hi, Rose. What is hard dough bread? My freezer is still full from my haul last weekend. The only thing I've cooked, what did I cook this time? The chicken. That's all I cooked. I'm going to cook the tuna this weekend. I'm going to poach it again. I was thinking maybe making some soup because those of you who are freezing your little buns over there might need some soup. But tomorrow you're going to see me make sancocho and the minestrone. So maybe that should take the place of my... So I am going to... I think I have some... oh, there it is. Just some green pepper in this one, not my tricolor. So we're going to let it cook and the fat render before I season it. All right? I have another Spanish class in the making. Woo, Maggie, Maggie, Maggie. I'll never finish that cookbook at this rate. People are always asking me for recipes, and I'm like, watch the video. I don't measure. All right, that's it for you see what I said? It didn't look like it had a lot of fat in it, which at least it's going to be inside a pastry, so it's not going to be too bad, right? Oh, you're going to love seeing how I make that, how I roll it and close it off and brush it with the egg white and put it in the oven and they pop up and it's so good. So good. All right. So my beef is cooking through. So I am going to add my, that's how people get burned, with the handle. Keep an eye on your handle. There's a show on the local TV, Master Chef. It comes on at 11 after I've watched my Spanish and Turkish dramas. And it's out of, I believe, Colombia. And they have some, not chefs, those people are like in entertainment, you know, like comedian, actors, and they're the one competing. So yesterday they did turkey, and that's pretty good, you know, for people who don't cook. Okay, that is good. So now we're gonna season. You know, that's gonna save me some time tomorrow. I don't have to worry about that. All I have to do, oh yeah, I have plenty of ground beef. So, there is sage. Yes, sage in meat. Good combo. Herbe de Provence. Boy, I need a big one of these, but they only have this size here. Adobo. And I told you I bought smoked paprika, a big old thing. So excited. I prefer smoked paprika to just plain. And we're gonna do cumin and ground pepper. Remember, take time to season your food and you will be happy with the result. And you can use more than salt and pepper in your food. All right? Now, I do not have, I think I have a little bit of cilantro, which I'm going to use. But now in this thing here, I'm going to put a little bit of jalapeno. No mucho, un poquito. Remember, no seeds. And it's going to mix in here with the bell pepper. And it's going to be fine. You dice it really fine so it disappears. Remember, always control your knife so you don't get burned. It doesn't fall away from you. That's when you get hurt. I have a little bit of leftover cilantro. Vamos a usar. Remember, you seasoning. This is your herb. So you know this ground beef is going to be popping, right? Because you're like, she put all that in there? Yes. So if you're making marinara sauce or spaghetti sauce, do this before you add your can of tomatoes. Oh, it smells so good. All right, you know what's missing here? We need acid, right? Remember, acid is the great equalizer. If you ever have your food tasting a little, try a little acid, okay? Not too much. Everything in scale, right? All right. So we're gonna taste that. You're probably gonna need some salt. No, it doesn't. Because the adobo had a little salt and that's it. All right, done. Now I have, okay, we're gonna put it in here, let it cool, and then put it in the fridge. Always cool your food before you put it in the fridge. Okay? And when you throw it, you want to throw it in the fridge. Because outside in the heat, that's when bacteria starts growing. Protect yourself in your own kitchen. It's your laboratory. Okay? We're going to let it sit here. Yes. So we're done with that. And the next thing we're going to make is the marinara. Okay? Alrighty, so we're gonna use this one to make our marinara. But before I get started, I'm gonna chop my tomatoes. Okay, I could have bought diced tomatoes, but I have extra tomatoes, so we're gonna use that. We're gonna use tomato paste, and I did break down and buy a can of tomato sauce. I bought the wine because I use wine in my Jamaican mini beef patties. Yum, yes. It sounds like you are making a Jamaican. Yes, except the dough. I don't have that yellow dough. What are you preparing? Hola. I am prepping for a party tomorrow. So I just cooked some ground beef that we're going to use to make some patties. I call them pate. All right. So, where are my tomatoes? Tomate, ¿dónde está? ¿Dónde están? Oh, here we go. So, yeah, before I get that started, we're gonna get our tomatoes. Remember this little thing I told you? You can get that at Walmart to score your tomatoes and take the top off. It saves you time, right? So I had bought this bag of tomatoes for $1, and they've been in the fridge for a little bit here, but they don't have to be the freshest. Yep, my stock. Ooh, it smells so good. It has started to boil, so I'm going to turn the heat down and let it simmer slow. You know, if you wanted to make chicken stock, you throw some chicken bones in there, that's fine. Let's say you had a rotisserie chicken, you have the bone, just throw them in there, right? Strain chicken stock, right? You don't need to buy the whatever we used to buy in the box. You know it's got stuff in it you don't want. I keep telling you that. Anything that had to be preserved, they have to put chemicals in it. So yeah, I saw oxtail at Cisco. I mean, I saw all kinds of things. I saw blue cheese. I hadn't seen blue cheese in a long time here. All right, I think that should do it. And if you buy a can of diced tomato, it's okay. I'll let you do it. I will not slap your hand. It's okay. All right? So for the marinara, you also, the way I was taught, you just put a little bit of a carrot that you chop really small, because the carrot is going to offset the really deep red of the tomato sauce and tomato paste, and so it's not so red, which I like that. This is how I learned, and with the wine as well is how I was taught. All right. I need, yes. Need a knife with teeth, right? And then we just do, remember, these tomatoes are not the freshest, but for what I'm doing, that's fine. And I prefer to do that than buy the can. The most fresh ingredient you use, the better, right? Sometimes you don't have a choice. You know, if you're making something, you have a can of chickpeas, that's okay. Just rinse it and not ingest all the liquid, because that's where all the chemicals are. Just rinse it, will good, you'll be okay. When I was, I had my family for make rice and peas, I used canned peas. Oh my God, this little lady, she was so offended when I told her I used canned peas. She was an auntie. Auntie was not having it. She's like, that is not how you do it taught. I said, yes, you're right, ma'am. No, ma'am, you're right. But when you have kids, you're working, you have all this stuff, and you don't have a maid at home or cook, you take shortcuts. And I used to take shortcuts. I used to buy scalloped potatoes in a box. I'm appalled right now, but I used to cook that on Sundays. Is it Mrs. Field? No, that was Kate. There was a company that used to make the scalloped potato. They were good. Dehydrated potatoes, you put the milk and the cheese, and then you squeeze that little bag in there with God knows what's in it. No bueno. But you know, this is the thing. You guys know better now, right? So you need to make better choices. And being busy is not an option, because your kids, when you were younger, you know, when you were like, you had a family, they're going to mimic what you do. If they see you, you know, using fresh ingredient, that's what they're going to do. So take the time. And now if you're retired, you really have no excuse, because it's your own body that you're trying to take care of. All right, so we got that. So now we're going to get the carrot ready. One carrot. Doesn't have to be that big. I still have my faithful peeler. I can't even remember how long I've had this peeler. I've had it for a while. It's still working. I used to have to do boxes of this at Disney when I did prep. Oh my God. But they had a machine that could julienne or dice. Yeah, you had to use your arm to bring them down. I mean, and then you get there in the morning and your name is there and how many boxes you're responsible for. As I get older, I had to embrace a new way of eating. Yes, ma'am. Tomatoes, I have to cut out the seeds and take up the skin. Oh, are you allergic? Does it mess up with your inside? Now, one thing about tomatoes, I believe I said that here. If you suffer from arthritis, you need to kind of limit how much of the tomatoes you it tends to aggravate your arthritis. Even though it's good for you. All right, so let's get started. So now we're going to get the rest of our onion. Remember, always start with onions and garlic. Now I am making marinara. I'm only using extra virgin olive oil. This little pan heats up really fast, so I have to keep an eye on it because it's pretty shallow. All right? No mucho, like a tablespoon. I love red onions. I don't know why they call it red. It looks purple to me. It looks purple. And garlic. Onions and garlic, always the start, the base, right? And just the carrots, and then the potatoes, then you season, then you deglaze with the wine. We call that deglazing. Now, if I'm using tomato paste, which I am, I got to put it in early so it can cook, right? You don't want a raw taste of your tomatoes. And el ajo, garlic, ajo. Now this is Italian dish, you know, marinara. So be generous with the garlic. I absolutely love garlic. So I always think, you know, my mother used to make us make tea with the skin. Anybody else? Yes. We used to make tea with everything, like rosemary. People are saying, rosemary? I'm like, we used to grab that from the bush outside. And I told you when I was growing up, I used to have terrible cramps. And there was I forgot what the plant was. I used to go home and they would brew me some tea and I would tight my stomach, put a big old dictionary. Oh, the things we go through. Oh my goodness, that was terrible. And guess what? As soon as I got married, they disappeared. People made fun of that. They're like, oh yeah, you got the good stuff and it got rid of your... I could not figure out why they went away. It wasn't even a hormonal shift because I wasn't even pregnant. Oh my gosh, that's crazy. But you see, I have to keep an eye on it. It wants to burn my onion. Stop it. All right, garlic. And then I'm gonna throw the tomatoes in there to kind of, and the tomatoes, you want them to kind of cook down. I like my tomato, my marinara a bit chunky. So I don't want it to be too, you know, thin. So, and when you are cooking garlic, the moment you start smelling it, it's ready. Because if you burn garlic with your dish, you'll never get the taste back. You have to start over. Like the chef used to say, start over. I was like, oh. And then I would be behind. All right. Oops, I have one. All right. I got one tomato that wasn't cut. And then I have plenty of basil. Woo! You know, when you almost finish and you chipper out that basil, oh, there's nothing quite like it. You try to burn some of that onion, but it's gonna go in the, all right. Now, I have some fresh Italian parsley, and, oh, and we have to put the carrots in there. Really thin. Carrots. I know you might say carrots in the marinara. Yes. Because, you know, think of it, you know, like in this here, if I put carrot in my stock, it's going to flavor. So the carrot is going to flavor the marinara. So don't think of it as, you know, an extra. It all works together. So half a carrot. We don't even need the whole thing. Okay? So, I'm gonna let this cook down. I'm gonna let it cook uncovered because I don't want it to create more water, more liquid, okay? No más líquido. And we have to let it dry before I deglaze anyway. All right, let's get the wine. And I think I told you, I'm trying this Chilean wine that is called Lasso. It's a Sauvignon Blanc. It's not a Chardonnay or Pinot Grigio or any of those. So, it hasn't been in the fridge, so it's warm, but I'm still gonna try it. And remember that your white wine can be put in the fridge, but not the red. Oh, I was ready for this, for the cork. I didn't even need that. Thank you guys for the thumbs up. I appreciate you. All right, let's see. Let's get a swag. I like that it's not so sweet. The, what did I have the other day? Somebody had brought some wine, you know, like leftover from the party, and it was so sweet. This is not so sweet. So I like that. I don't like sweet stuff. All right. We need to get ready with our basil. Look at this beauty here. Look at that. Albahaca basil, and it was $1.50. That's a good price because usually they're over $2. I wonder if there's anything I can do with basil. Can I make tea with it? Anybody knows? Oh, it smells so good. Whew. See. All right. know how I always have to turn this thing off and then turn it back on again for it to be really hot. Mmm. Yum. All right. Okay. So we're making stock. Almost dry. Yeah. How about some more sea salt? Iodized sea salt. Good stuff. Where was I? I saw cooking red wine, Chinese rice wine. So I need to get some more. Every time I'm looking, I'm like, you want to add more stuff. This is oyster sauce. I like oyster sauce. What I didn't like is that sweet something sauce. I threw it away. I had bought one sweet chili sauce. Woo, that thing was so sweet. It was crazy. I'm like, no, too much sugar. All right. The tomatoes need to cook down a bit. But I can season and deglaze while it's cooking down. All right. Let's season. This is adobo, herbe de Provence. I don't put cumin in my marinara, but I do put oregano. See, oregano. Panamanian cuisine and Spanish cuisine use a lot of, okay. So now I have to look at the bottom. Don't want it to burn. Remember, this thing is really thin. And if I need to, I can take a little bit of that stock that's cooking and put it in here, right? How much wine did you put in? I haven't put in the wine yet. Usually about half a cup. Yeah. I just need the tomatoes to cook down just a tad more. Even though I like it chunky, but this is a bit much. But maybe I'll cover it for a little bit. Let it steam. All right, let it steam for a little bit. Oh, I don't need carrots. Put those away. Then I'm going to add the tomato paste. And then deglaze. Now you see how I'm getting the bottom because I don't want it to burn. And whenever you have a crust forming, that's flavor. So whatever you're doing, never get rid of your bottom because scrub it if it's not burnt, because that's where a lot of your flavor is going to be. Okay, let's turn it back. Tomato paste. Now I want it to cook down. I think the tomatoes are almost where I want it to be. Remember, chunky but not too chunky. That's why if you were to buy a can of diced tomatoes, that would work. Okay? Now I'm going to put the wine. About half a cup. But when you cook with wine like this, you need to let it evaporate. It needs to cook off. So don't go put your liquid in here right now. You need to let it cook off. Okay? I am going to throw 1 Scotch bonnet pepper whole, just for the taste. And for the marinara, it really does well with a little bit of fresh thyme. So I am going to put, look at that, they're so fresh. And I've had it for a couple of weeks now. So be kind to your thyme. Not rosemary. Rosemary goes well with some veggies, but mostly meat. All right, for your gamey meat, you know, like beef and what do they call that? Goat, oxtail, yes. Okay. Ooh, nice. All right. So look at this. We're ready. So I'm gonna get some of that stock right here. Ooh. Put it in. You see, it cooked off. Nice. Make sure it doesn't burn. So I have a can of tomato paste, tomato sauce. I'm gonna put it in here. I'm gonna kind of take the place of my stock and just add to it. So and we're gonna thin it out with some of the stock, cover it, and let it cook down. My stock is boiling away, giving me flavor for my marinara. Yes, aquí. Now, you may ask me, well, how much stock do you put in there? Well, you don't want it too thin. You don't want it too thick either, right? So eyeball it. But you must let it cook down because you want to get the taste of that tomato paste and all that. You want it to go out. Now I'm going to throw some, I'm going to make a bouquet garni. All right, in the meantime, I'm going to let it, because it's going to start splashing. You're going to put maybe a couple of bay leaves. And I'm making a bouquet garni. Bouquet garni. Now I have this leftover cilantro. I definitely want to use that for the bouquet because I want to get rid of it. So what better use for it than throw it in there. Let it release its beautiful flavor. You can throw that away now. Somebody would say, well, don't you get tired? I'm like, no, I'm not tired doing something I love. You know, and if I'm making a party, tomorrow is easy, but if I'm cooking like 8 or 9 different dishes, then it's You get tired. All right, here we go. All right, gonna turn this on. And we're done here. So all we're gonna have left to do is to put the basil towards the end after it cooked off, and then we taste it, and the taste is good, and we put it to the side. All right. Now I'm gonna get a big pan to put my my chicken and start seasoning it. All right, I'm ready. I think my stock, I need to just, I'm gonna need the stock. So look at that color. Oh, that pretty. So see, if you just do vegetable stock, you're good. You don't have to worry about somebody who's vegetarian, vegan. Don't need to worry about that. Okay, so now I think we can put our ground beef. I can serene it and put it inside. It's gonna be good inside the pastry. I can taste the thyme. And that's what you want. You want your herb to flavor your food. I look at Cisco to see if I can find a big one like this. I did not see it. But I must have gotten this one somewhere. So I have to go back. All right, so we are ready. So I found my protein powder, so now I'm gonna be able to make my smoothies. $30. I was happy. Organic plant protein. Can you make a marinara without the wine? Yes, you can. But remember, the wine is not liquor, because once you let it burn off, it's just flavor. That's all. I am working on my cookbook, but I'm just lazy getting caught up in details. I started like before the end of the year, and I kind of have stopped. I really need to get going back. And look at this beauty. I can't wait to cut it. Make smoothies with this. All right, yes, you don't need to use wine in your marinara. That's the way I was taught, and I like the taste. But, you know, it's like when you see chefs flambe, you know, something, you know, when they do the fire and stuff, it's not alcohol, because once it burns off, the alcohol is gone. I think that, yeah, the consistency is just right. So I'm gonna start tasting to see what I need to do to it. All right, we need to now some recipes, they'll put some sugar in it, but I'm not, okay? Because the carrots that I put in is supposed to kind of offset, because you know, the tomato paste is a little tart. So now I get to play with it to see, okay, what else do I need to do to get it to taste what I want it to taste like, okay? Now, marinara, this is not one of those dishes where I ask you to put acid at the end. No, not with this one, okay? So we're gonna play with our spices. Maybe I will break down and put a little cumin in. Whew. And, oh, I didn't put any paprika. Maybe that's what it's missing. I'm like, it's not there yet. Because you know, paprika is just red pepper. Curry, no. Oregano, see. Oregano, you can be generous with it because it's a good herb. We already put thyme. We have a bouquet garni in here. So, now I don't like my marinara really thin. You know, it's like if you were to put some pasta in there, you want the marinara to stay on the pasta. You want it to go through. No bueno. That's why when you are putting your liquid, you got to eyeball. All right. And this is one of those dishes towards the end, I do put a little butter, montée au beurre. But if you are vegan, leave it off. Almost. More adobo. Oh, and I forgot, we're gonna have to put that basil in there. That's gonna make it, gonna take it to the top. And the basil, we're gonna chiffonade. And I might need to put a little bit of that parsley, fresh parsley. Yes, look at that. Yes, chunky marinara. All right. So a little bit of, I don't like when it splashes and burns me. A little bit of fresh Italian parsley. Look how pretty. Doesn't smell as good as cilantro, but I think that's enough. And that's why if somebody say, well, how much should you put? A little bit. I think that's going to be the hardest thing for me with the cookbook, to say 1 teaspoon of this, 1 tablespoon of that. And I'm like, a pinch of this, a pinch of that. That is how we learn. All right. I think it's ready for the basil. We're going to get our basil, fresh basil. I get so excited when I see it. What is it? Oh yeah, there it is. Oh, look at this beauty. Woo! I need my picture taken with this. Oh, it's so pretty. I wish I could grow it. I'm going to try. I haven't killed my plants yet, so I guess there's hope for me. But I tell you, I don't know anything about plants. If they need more than water, I'm not a good mama. I did buy a thing of plant food, so I do add a few drops in the water every time I water it. That's the best I can do. I think I need more basil. Albahaca. Now you don't want to take the stem, you just want the leaves. Did somebody tell me if we can make tea out of basil? I don't know. Can I use it for tea? How about a pinch of ginger? Ooh, with the marinara? No. I don't believe it's one of those dishes that calls for ginger. Ginger in your meat, in your chicken, yes. But not in the marinara. Let's not go too far off, okay? Put it in your tea, in your chicken wings. Oh, the sauce that I make with ginger? Yes. Very good. I was trying to chiffonade this, but I didn't do it. Because you don't want too thin. You don't want this, the basil, to be too thin. All right? Generous. Don't go crazy, but don't be too stingy with the basil. Okay? So when I put some of that in my soup tomorrow, listen, I guarantee you it's gonna be to die for. Now I'm gonna take this off. And the bouquet garni can come out as well. The bouquet, this, ooh, yes, it's done its work. Look at this. You put this on some, like my son would say, some spaghetti, and you shred some, you shave some Parmesan. Why would you want to buy the stuff in the bottle, in the jar? Yes. A little butter. It's gonna take it to the lab. Because you know the tomato is already acidic. That's why you don't need lemon or lime. I haven't even touched the butter that the sister gifted me yet. Just like, I don't think it's even a tablespoon. It's not that much. So don't clutch up for saying, oh my gosh, you put butter in it. Leave it off if you don't want to. This is in French cooking, it just gives it a little glistening, gives it a glow at the end, that's all. That's what they call monté au beurre. How long would that marinara sauce last if you store it? Usually, I will put it in the fridge. It will last for a couple of weeks, but I usually freeze mine, you know, in jars. And then when I'm ready to use them, then I take them out the night before, put them in the fridge so they can thaw out. And all you have to do is warm it up. Or you can have the jars that are like, you know, 8 ounces smaller than these. This is a pint. Okay? I think I have some bay leaves in here that need to come out. Yeah. And then we are ready. Wasn't that fun? So now you guys cannot ask me how to make marinara. You can make your own marinara. And you know, marinara for you as adults is just like having peanut butter and jelly for your kids. Because if you jar it in small, you can cook it, you can put it next to some ratatouille, you can put it next to some quinoa, you can put it on pasta, of course, you know, and you know, it's nice and healthy, homemade. So have that, and then mix and match, be creative. All right, so we are done. Yum. So that needs to go somewhere where it can cool off before I can put it in a jar. And then now we're gonna get ready for our chicken. And then my prep will be done. So tomorrow, ooh, I need to do some veggies too. Maybe I won't show you the veggies. I will hold you here too long. The veggies, all I'm gonna do, I'm gonna start with some onions and garlic, and then I'm gonna chop, dice some peppers, all tricolor. And then when I'm almost done, I'm gonna just put a few spinach leaves in, right? And do a mix, because that's gonna be the mix that I use in the other pastries. I have 2 boxes. I'm doing 1 box with the beef, 1 box with veggies for my vegetarian. And that doesn't take long to cook at all. I mean, bell pepper, spinach. But I time myself when I have company, when I have to cook, to see how do I do it so everything comes out about the same time, and something is not too cold. And then tomorrow with the soup, usually here they do a side of white rice, but myself, I'm making white rice with sweet peas with coconut milk. It looks really good and it tastes good. So season your food. Season your food. Don't eat bland food. All right. I love having these little bags. So when I go to the meat market and I have things that are cold, I'm gonna wrap them in this. I have a red one and a black one. All right. A ver, ¿qué tenemos aquí? Now this burner is hot. I gotta be careful. I don't put my thing on there. So, ooh, look how much chicken. She cut them off for me. Look at that. This is the chicken breast. But as I'm cooking for the soup, I want the bones and I want the dog meat for flavor. So, you know what? I'm going to cut this in half. And the chicken thighs, the wings, all those are going, because I want this size to be able to put in the pan. So what I'm thinking tomorrow, I'm going to cook the chicken and put it to the side and then work on the broth and all that and then bring it back. Because what I don't want is for the chicken to be overcooked and falling into the soup. All right. Mass. Bone. I want the bones. Because when you're making soup, that's what's gonna flavor, right? Whether you're using chicken or fish or anything else, you want bones. All right. Okay, I think we can stop right here. Whew, that is a lot. I think I would do it. All right, so that means I'm gonna have leftover. I can make soup for someone with this. Yes. All right. Put it in the freezer. All right. So. It's still hot. Okay. So when I have chicken wings, I don't know why. I was taught to take these off. I don't know. All right, this is good. And again, with this, not at school, but this part here is for my mom. This is not the school that taught me this. Okay, so if I have this, I'm going to cut this in half. And remember, I don't take away all the skin. If skin is falling off, I take it off. But I don't go out of my way to take the skin off because a lot of the flavor is in the skin, you guys. That's why sometimes there are recipes that call for chicken skin. Yesterday, this girl on that show I was telling you about, she made a garnish of the chicken skin. When I was in Peru, they took the fish skin and I'm wondering, I don't think they put it in the oven, right? And then it became a garnish. You could do that. So don't be anti-skin, all right? So I think, yeah, this size is perfect. Perfecto. This one I have to cut it in half. Yes. Okay, this is gonna be a challenge. And you know how I do, because I don't have a, what do they call that? What do you call it? What the thing that you use to cut something? I forgot. So I use my small cast iron. That's my weapon. And then I go like this. Remember what I said? I figure things out. That's an example. Because that would be too big to fit in my soup bowl. So, yes. Eso. Now this is must be a thigh and a back. Take that off. You know, I watch people, you know, they have this guy with the dreads, you know, who's fishing. Have you seen him? He can catch some fish. Chopper? No, that's not what they call it. Is it a mallet? I think a mallet. Yes, a mallet. I had one, you know, it's steel, but now see this piece of fat, that's gonna go because I don't like that. This is not the kind of skin I'm looking for. All right, that goes. This, yeah, I can work with that, but this one is going to be broken in half. Yes. Oh, here's another one. So we're gonna cut these in half. You know what that is. Is it part of the lungs? But you know what? This chicken is so fresh. And that's why I will not buy chicken anywhere else here, but at the meat market. Because when the chicken looks like it's so old, no bueno. That's why you have to have different size knives that you're comfortable with to do what you want it to do. Take those off. And I'm going to cut this one. Okay, that's going to be interesting. All right. Ooh. That's part of the chicken breast. Let's cut this in half. And this. Because I need to make sure that they can fit in the bowl. You know, you don't want to give somebody a bowl and then the chicken legs sticking out. No bueno. Okay. Wow, look at that. Oh, that marinara smells so good. But no, I'm not gonna eat anything tonight. Do not tempt me. Now, can you see how fresh this chicken looks? Seriously, I'm telling you. I mean, I don't eat chicken all the time, but yes, if it's fresh, oh yes. I had some chicken from what did I cook Sunday? You know, I had the ladies come and everybody came, got a plate. One of them was vegetarian, so I just gave her rice and cabbage, and I had beets, so she had those. Oh, and I made, I had sweet plantain, so she enjoyed that. And the other one came, she's like, well, you can put all that in there, because I love those things. I just love it when people enjoy my food. I do. I do. Ooh. Now you see some of the skin is coming off, because if it's just kind of hanging, I'm gonna take it off. All right, this is part of the neck. All right. I think from the breast it comes off, but the legs and the thigh, the skin stays. All right. I believe we are ready. I think I have enough. Yes. All right, so. Remember, I'm going to have to wash this board so it doesn't mess up contaminate the rest of my stuff. All right. Okay, so now we're going to clean our chicken. Vinegar. Now at this point, a lot of people like to use sour orange. I just don't like those myself. So I use regular lime or lemons. But you can use, anything you want. As long as it's acid, and then it's going to, well, this is sour orange. Look, I had one left. Chopper. Meat cleaver. Is that what we call them, Miss Deborah? Okay. But I couldn't carry one in my suitcase. All right, before I touch this chicken, I'm gonna fill this with hot water so I can chop my meat. All right. So, you wash your meat, and then we're gonna take it to the sink, and you take all the slime, anything that you want off of it. So by the time you put that hot water on there, that meat is clean, you hear me? Now, when I was in school, the chefs were like, you don't have to clean the chicken, Maggie, you don't have to clean the chicken. And I'm like, my mother would roll in her grave if I didn't clean this chicken. No, I can do that. I am not going to commit the cardinal sin. And if we have people from the island watching, woo, they're going to call me all kinds of names if I don't clean this chicken. I don't really think you're going to get sick if you don't clean the chicken. Believe me, because once you're cooking the chicken, you get rid of a lot of things. But the problem we run into when we don't cook the chicken to the right temperature, or you let it sit out too long, and the heat, just think, whatever food you have, heat, it gets bacteria, they like darkness and they like heat. That's why when you put something in the sun kills a lot of things, right? All right. So we're going to take this to the sink, and we're going to put our clean chicken in here. All right. Our chicken is clean. I got one piece. All right. Yep. We're gonna shark it with that, and then we're gonna season, and then we'll call it a night. I'm sorry, I'm keeping you guys. Wash the chicken? Oh yes. Oh, it's the cardinal sin. You mean you're not gonna wash this chicken? Isn't it amazing how the things that you grew up with kind of stay with you? Now this part, I know a lot of Americans don't. This is I don't know if it's a Caribbean thing, but we do it. We make sure that our meat is shocking with this hot water. I think in their mind it makes them feel like they're killing something. Not really. You're gonna kill it when you cook it, but hey, I'm not fighting this. No, ma'am. Hot, hot, hot. Imagine that I'm gonna have to do all this when I am doing my recipes. I'm gonna have to record all these things. Well, maybe just write the recipes. All right, this thing needs to go somewhere. It's dirty. All right, now, when you are seasoning your chicken, you gotta keep in mind flavor, because I can't taste it. It's raw chicken. So, oh, and I need to make my herb oil. So we're gonna put some extra virgin olive oil, just a little bit to kind of, when I mix it, it doesn't stick, right? Now, I use a little bit of white vinegar, but you don't have to. Like I said before, remember, vinegar cleanses your inside, so you're okay. And I know it's late, so if you guys want to log off, you can. I use a little bit of soy sauce. This is dark soy. Not a lot. This is it balsamic vinegar? It's taking the place of Worcestershire sauce, which is what I like, but I don't have any, so I'm putting a little bit of that. Doesn't hurt anything. All right. Now, for my spices up here, I'm gonna put a lot of garlic in this. Some Scotch bonnet pepper. Ooh, maybe not. I'm cooking for people. I have to keep remembering you're not cooking for yourself, Maggie. All right. Now I'm gonna put some ginger in this. Somebody mentioned ginger earlier. Yes. Ginger and poultry, it's a good marriage. This is cumin. Sage. I have fresh sage. I'm gonna use fresh sage. That was from the holidays. I still have some. Herbe de Provence. Yes. Ooh. Adobo. This sister went back home and she left a bunch of her stuff here for me. She's got a garlic and pepper seasoning. I haven't used that. Oregano? Yeah, why not? Doesn't hurt anything. And the soup is gonna have plenty of oregano in it, so no problema. And You know, I do have my other paprika, but this is getting ready to finish. So I'm going to use that. Ooh, yes. Okay, curry, no. All right. Marjoram, there is marjoram, yes. I have one. I have a mix that's called fine herbs. If it's not up here, I'm not gonna do it. This is the red pepper flakes, a little bit, not enough to make it hot. Okay. This is dried thyme, just a little bit, but I am gonna put fresh, because nothing beats fresh. Romero, I'm gonna use fresh. Culantro, no. Okay, so I'm gonna put that here, and then we're gonna add our stuff. I have a little bit of jalapeno left here, so yes, don't throw away anything, use it, right? Because if you leave it in your fridge, it's probably gonna go bad. So I'm gonna chop it really small and throw it in there. ¿Por qué no? And like I said, if I were here by myself, I'd have the music blaring now to get all the good hormones to flow in my brain. And the good hormone are saying, yep, this is your happy place. Yep, you're happy doing this, Maggie. Yes, I am. All right. So now, I don't think I'm going to put any Scotch bonnet just because I'm cooking for people. I don't want to get in trouble when they say, oh, Maggie, it's hot. You know, Americans don't like hot. A lot of them. There's one sister, she likes hot. I'm like, wow. Let's see if I have anything tomorrow for her to squeeze in her food. But she's always asking for heat. Yeah, when I'm cooking, when I have an event, I like to do as much prep as possible. Cornbread, I can't. Now, I have a recipe for cornbread that calls for jalapeno and cheese, and even bacon bits. But that's kind of a loaded one. I'm gonna play it safe. I'm not even putting cheese in mine. No. It's like grits, you know, people put cheese in it, but not everybody wants cheese. So you can have the cheese on the side. If somebody wants to add it with the hot grits, they can mix it, right? You see, I need more. Oops. ¿Qué pasó? So tomorrow morning, we have our workout, and then I'm gonna clean the floors and then start on the soup. You know, make sure that flavor's good, everything is on point, because that is the star. That's what people are coming for, is the sancocho, the national dish of Panama. So I have to, and there is one Panamanian coming, so I have to make sure I have my ducks in a row. I can't, I can't mess up. She's gonna say, ah, Maggie, no, te falta algo. ¿Qué? But if she doesn't cook, she probably won't tell me. But when I tell them, when you go to the fonda, to the restaurant, and you get your food, remembering they put the packets in there, the flavoring. All right, I think that's enough. They put the flavoring in there for you, so I'm giving you without the artificial stuff, the MSG. You know, they're talking about how they have an increase. It's almost like an epidemic of colon cancer in young people. And that is concerning, right? But they said they think it's because they use a lot of prepackaged food. But I'm like, we raise these kids like that, you know, to just go and get something because of convenience. Because we parents, we were so busy chasing life, you know, 2, 3 jobs, never home, always going to McDonald's and stuff. So, no bueno. All right, let's put our herbs. Romero. Now, a generous portion of that rosemary in this chicken. Marinate overnight. Whew, that is gonna be a winner. Okay. Although when you look at the recipe online, the way they make it here, they don't do all that. They clean the chicken and they just, but they do put spices. We use more spices here in Panama than I've seen in a lot of places. And you know, in Africa they use lots of spices, but lots of little packets. Lots of tomatoes. They put tomatoes and everything, tomato paste. Especially in Ghana. I don't know about other places. When I went to Rwanda, I did not like the food there. Ghana's food is much better. I haven't been to Kenya. I hear the food is good. All right, this is rosemary. Yes, we're gonna put some thyme and some sage. Oh, the sage is almost done. I can't believe it's still here. And you know, the leaves don't look that bad. Wow. Remember, sage, you put it in your turkey and you also put it in your dressing. I think when I bought this one, I bought it when I made the dressing for my friend Monica. Hopefully she'll try to make it herself. Alright. I believe that would do it. I believe I can fly. I believe I can touch the sky. Yeah, this is just about done. Oh, and we have to put acids. Remember, acid. We need acid in this chicken. And I'm going to put some ginger in this. Now I'm going to need a little bit of salt. I know that. I saw something on TikTok. They had a bunch of herbs, and then they said it's a kidney cleanse. I want to caution you. All these herbs, you don't know in what quantity. Don't put all this stuff in your body. You could harm yourself. Too much of anything can be harmful. This guy was talking about how he decided to do, I think he thought he was cleansing his liver, and he started taking mega doses of, no, I think he was trying to get anti-inflammatory thing, you know, with turmeric. And he started taking mega doses of turmeric. And he started feeling bad. And he started getting jaundice. He was killing his kidney. So sometimes when you think you're trying to do something, I caution people with all the mixture of all these herbs, you don't know in what quantity, you don't know if it counteracts with medication you're taking at home. Be careful. That's why when you go to your doctor, make sure you tell him what else you're taking besides whatever he's ordered for you. We used to run into that all the time. These old people, they stay up at night, they see an infomercial that asks for their credit card, and then they give the credit card, and then every single month, a box comes full of pills. I don't even know what they're taking. And then they come to you, and you're trying to decipher what is it that is really causing them to feel so bad? Or your heart rate's going high, or it's too low. Be careful. Your kidneys don't just need you to do all that stuff to it. Just take care of it. Drink plenty of water. Don't overdo things with your alcohol, whatever else. But when you're trying to cleanse, you can't go too far. Alright, so we got thyme. What else am I missing? We need ginger and acid. And then we use our hand and mix. Alright, so I'm gonna put a little salt. You know, I'm eyeballing. But if you don't feel comfortable, just wait until the chicken is cooking and then you can update. You always roll your lime to release the juices, okay? Makes it easier for you when you're squeezing. Even then, this one is really tight, but you can use those pressers if you have lemon. Lemon is a commodity here. We're in the Americas, so we do lime. And I love lime. Put it in my water, my tea. Woo. Yes. Next one. Woo. You see, I like that. To me, that's like a workout. I'm working my arms. It's all about attitude, isn't it? Whatever you're doing, it's all about attitude, because Chuck Swindoll says life is 20% what happens to you and 80% how you react to what happens. Right? Hola. Who's calling me queen? Am I the queen? All right. I know I call people queen when it's their birthday. Happy birthday, queen. We are all queens. All right. Now, the only thing I have left is the ginger. I need another towel. That thing is nasty. All right. Ginger. Oh, I have not used my ginger. You know, even myself, I get lazy with myself sometimes. Look at this. This is ginger I have bought. I have not put it in my tea. Look at this beauty. My crocky, that's a beauty, right? Now we have plenty of ginger here in these Americas, okay? So, now with your ginger, you could just take a little spoon and you just go like this, and that's how you peel your ginger with a spoon, okay? That way, you don't lose the ginger, because if you take a knife, you're gonna get rid of some of it, right? So, just use a teaspoon and just scrape away. Ooh. Very good. I love it. Love it, love it, love it. All right, after this, we are done, ladies. But when I hang up with you, I am going to do my vegetable. That way I know I am done with the prep. All right, so you can put it like this and do strips. And then chop. Yes, you're gonna chop the ginger like I chopped the other herbs, okay? Because you don't want chunks of ginger. You want it to disappear when the chicken is cooking. So the smaller the better. Yeah, it doesn't need to be something that is strong, not like the thyme. This is just a balancer. I think that's enough. Again, don't want it to overpower anything. Okay, woo. We are ready to mix. What else am I missing? Maybe a little parsley. Un poquitito. Fresh parsley. And in the soup, I'm going to put the celery and tomatoes and the beans and the peppers, woo, and the marinara, and a little bit of coconut milk. Listen, it's going to be yummy. I just wish I had a bigger pot, but as I said, I am not going to buy a bigger pot. It's more stuff that I'm going to be having to. All right. We talked about gloves the other day. If you want to use gloves at this point, please help yourself. But I don't use gloves in the kitchen. In my kitchen. Now remember, if I was in a restaurant, RTE food, if I'm making a salad or I'm cutting your fruit, yes, you should wear gloves. So if you see somebody in your restaurant touching food that's coming to your plate without being cooked, make sure they wear gloves. Well, the other thing is, they could wear gloves, but if they don't keep changing the gloves and wash their hands, they're not doing anything good. Ooh. Okay. So, that's how you marinate your chicken. Chicken is always best marinated overnight, or if you don't have overnight, at least a few minutes, 30 minutes. All right, guys. Thank you so much for hanging with me. I kind of hijack y'all tonight, right? Okay. It's 8:45. Thank you. Have a good evening. I'll see you tomorrow. You know I'm going to show you how I make the pate. Maybe the soup, a little bit. You may not want to see it, but anyway. All right, Marla, Maria. Buenas noches. Buenas noches. Hasta mañana.